I'd like to welcome everyone to the 1677th meeting of the Board of Trustees, Metropolitan St. Louis. May I get a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Wabi.
Here.
Mr. Watson. Mr. Evans.
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson. Ms. Fair.
Yes.
All here.
Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve the journal of the meeting on
Second.
journal is approved. Approval for the journal for September, the meeting on September 7th.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Chair has no comments. We'll have the reports of the board committees. Program Management Committee, Mr. Nicholasison.
Program Management Committee met on October 3rd, 2023 at 7:39 a.m. The meeting was attended by Trustees Evans and Wilson with Trustees Nicholasison, Wabi, and Fair online. Chairperson Nicholasison called roll and had no further comment. The minutes of the September 5th, 2023 Program Management meeting were approved. The agenda items to be introduced tonight were presented and discussed, including a detailed discussion regarding the following items. Ordinance numbers 16229 through 16233. Staff presented and reviewed details of 5 planned appropriations for engineering services on tonight's agenda. Contracts will provide water quality support services and engineering design for several system improvement projects. Staff then discussed the revised MWBE sub-consultant goals for fiscal year 2024. Ordinance number 16235. Staff discussed the planned supplemental appropriation for design services during construction on the Lower Merrimack Plant Expansion Project. Trustee Wabi requested information on the current construction and funding status of the project. Mr. Unverferth did not have this information immediately available, but would provide the information to the trustees prior to the board meeting. Ordinance numbers 16238 through 16239. Staff reviewed the details and bid information for 2 construction projects bid over the past month. These ordinances will authorize contracts and appropriate the necessary funds for the project. Staff discussed revised MWBE subcontracting goals for the fiscal year 2024 sewer construction project. Ordinance numbers 16244 and 16245. Staff reviewed the details of 2 projects currently in easement acquisition. Staff has been unable to obtain all necessary property rights through negotiation. Staff is requesting authorization from the board to move forward with condemnation efforts to allow the projects to remain on schedule. The next committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for October 31st, 2023. The meeting was adjourned at 8:14 a.m. This concludes the Program Management Board comments report.
Thank you, Trustees Nicholasison. The Finance Committee meeting, Trustee Evans.
All right. The Finance Committee met on October 3rd, 2023 at 8:16 a.m. The meeting was attended by Trustees Wilson, Evans with Trustees Fair, Nicholasison, and Wabi online. Chairperson Evans called roll and no further comments. The minutes of the September 5th, 2023 Finance Committee meeting were approved. The agenda items to be introduced tonight were presented and discussed. Proposed ordinance number 16246. This action authorizes the district to enter into a 1-year contract with 1 option year with Romney Street to provide technical support services for the Oracle EBS 12.1.3 system. This action is required for the district to continue to produce payroll, administer employee benefits, and to report and reference historical prior to 4/17/2023 financial and human resource information. Resolution number 3863. This resolution updates language previously contained in Resolution 2474 with revised bid variance amounts and provides additional clarity regarding timing and explanations to be provided to the Board of Trustees when a recommendation to award a construction contract to the next lowest responsive bidder is made. Introduction and adoption of proposed ordinance number 16248. This ordinance authorizes amendments to the 2018A WIFIA loan agreement to align certain reporting requirements with the new 2023E WIFIA loan agreement. The amendment eliminates the need for email notifications to WIFIA EPA when certain filings are made on EMA, updates the DUNS language to reflect registration through SAM, and aligns the due date for submission of annual financial model to match the timeline to the 2023E WIFIA loan agreements that only one model has to be provided for both loans. Secretary Treasurer Tim Snoke then reviewed the district's operating fund portfolio as of September 28, 2023. Tim indicated that the portfolio is in compliance with the district's investment policy. The next committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, October 31st, 2023. The meeting is adjourned at 8:24 a.m. This concludes the Finance Committee Board Comments Report.
Thank you, Trustee Evans. I will read the Stakeholder Relations Committee minutes. The Stakeholder Relations Committee met on October the 3rd, 2023 at 8:26 a.m. The meeting was attended by Chairperson Wilson and Trustee Evans, and online with Trustees Fair, Nickerson, and Wabi. Chairperson Wilson called roll and had no further comments. The minutes of the September 5th, 2023 Stakeholder Relations Committee meeting were voted on and approved. The agenda and discussion items were as follows. Ordinance number 16247, Conflict of Interest Policy. Susan Meyer discussed the need for an update to the district's Conflict of Interest Policy, specifically to revise Attachment B, Vendor, Contractor, Consultant, Conflict of Interest Questionnaire to include more stringent requirements per revised statute of Missouri Section 105.476. Ordinance numbers 16249, 16250, and 16259. Tracy Coleman discussed new contracts for MSD's Group Vision Insurance Plan, Group Medical Plan, and Stop Loss Coverage and Group Dental Plans. The new contracts will be effective January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, with 2 option renewal years for the dental and medical plan and 3 option renewal years for the vision plan. Resolution numbers 3860, 3861, and 3862. Tracy Coleman discussed contract renewals with the Standard Life Insurance Company for MSD's FMLA administration, group life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance, and group long-term disability coverage. All plans will exercise the second of 2 option year renewals. MSD's Diversity FY 2023 Annual Report. Shauna Paradis gave a presentation on MSD's Annual Diversity Report for fiscal year 2023. Shauna's presentation summarized the CIRP construction and the design vendor workforce goals and utilization. Small contractor infrastructure repairs program and community benefits initiatives. Updates were also provided regarding the disparity study program updates and service timelines, including the diversity compliance and reporting system. There's no board action required at this time. Rate Commission reports. Brian Holscher provided an update to the trustees regarding the submission of the Rate Commission report and the responses required by MSD. Brian discussed the process for the trustees to accept the Rate Commission report by resolution, the process for addressing and responding to the Commission's other recommendations outlined in the Commissioner's letter, and the need to consider the items that were brought up during the public comment period at the September board meeting. He concluded by informing the trustees that the goal for finalizing these documents is the November committee meetings. The meeting was adjourned at 9:32 a.m. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for October 31st, 2023. This concludes the Stakeholder Relations Committee Board Comments Report. Okay. Is there a report from the executive director?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Earlier this week, a column was printed in the Post-Dispatch regarding MSD's current rate proposal and the recommendations by the Rate Commission to MSD's Board of Trustees. While the column raises important points about consumer protection, it unfortunately fell short in presenting a balanced view that considers both short-term and long-term implications. As such, MSD will be responding. The column presents a case that was considered and discussed by the Rate Commission to lower the debt service ratio, resulting in modest savings for the residential customers for the next 5 to 8 years. However, it neglects consideration of the long-term financial repercussions of such a move. Specifically, this approach will saddle customers with higher costs for decades to come. The suggested alternative could quite possibly, as stated by the bond rating agencies, lower MSD's bond rating. This would likely lead to higher interest rates, which would further increase long-term costs for our customers. We stand at the halfway point of our consent decree with 16 more years of mandated work ahead. It's crucial we continue to consider the long-term financial impact on our customers. We must also account for additional obligations imposed by other environmental regulations, which only compound the financial burden on our customers. Remember that MSD does not have investors looking for returns, nor does it provide bonuses to any of its staff. Our only concern with developing rate proposals for review by the Rate Commission is assuring that the impact on our customers is as minimal as possible. This is a commitment we take seriously. I'd also like to address the unfounded criticism aimed at the Rate Commission in that article. To say that the rate commissioners selected by the Rate Commission organization agencies are just a rubber stamp is simply false. If you doubt me, have an organization you wish to represent, submit a proposal for the 10 positions that will be advertised for the next Rate Commission in 2026. In fact, the Rate Commission organization mentioned in the article, the Coalition for the Environment, has done more to help keep MSD rates as low as possible than any other organization in our service area. Chairman, that ends my remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Director. We have a number of comments from the public. I will call them and ask them to speak in the order that I have, they were presented to me. And I'd remind those speaking that to try to hold your comments to 5 minutes. Okay, Mike Gomez.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Mike Gorman. I'm a consultant.
I'm sorry. Mike Gorman. Okay, you can go ahead. You're there. I'll let you go, but I have, I believe it's Mike Gomez. If that's not one, go ahead. Apologize for interrupting you. Your time has not started.
I apologize if I jumped up here too quickly. I'm a rate consultant. I've been working on MSD wastewater rate cases for the last 15 to 20 years. I represent the Missouri industrial energy consumers in this wastewater case. Worked with MIAC for the last 20 various rate cases in the state, and other industrial and federal executive agencies in rate cases around the country. We have reviewed the Rate Commission's proposal in this. We think the Rate Commission's awarding a rate increase higher than it needs to be in order to maintain the financial integrity of MSD and the wastewater system. The financial metrics approved by the Rate Commission in forecasting an appropriate revenue requirement entitled the MSD to adjust wastewater rates reflects financial metrics that are higher than has been approved by prior Rate Commission and ultimately approved by this Commission in setting rates. The effect of adjusting those financial metrics is to necessarily increase the rate increase, the wastewater rate increase case. The issues that were approved by the Rate Commission setting a revenue requirement are accepted by the Rate Commission. This time are the same financial metric issues that were previously not accepted by the Rate Commission, not approved by this Commission, setting wastewater rates. That deals with range of financial metrics that establishes appropriate cash flow coverages of debt obligations. The higher the financial coverage of debt obligations, the higher the wastewater rates need to be. Over the last several cases, rates have been set based on a specific range of debt service coverage metrics equal to about 2.5 times the coverage of first mortgage bonds and about 1.6 times the coverage of total debt obligations for MSD. The MSD staff in the last 2 cases proposed to change those metrics by increasing the total coverage of total debt service coverage from 1.6 times previously approved up to 1.8 times. Rate Commission rejected that proposal in the last case and set rates based on a revenue requirement that maintained the financial metrics that were previously established in making revenue. In this case, they accepted. And by doing this, based on the calculations by the Rate Commission's consultant, rate increase is quite a bit higher for wastewater customers. We think the Commission should carefully consider consenting to opinions from the Rate Commission on the appropriate revenue needed to ensure that the MSD collects adequate wastewater revenues. They're able to both maintain its strong credit standing in this case and in future cases, but to also prioritize the need for rate affordability, which was the primary metric prior rate commissions considered recommending a lower revenue requirement increase than that sought by the MSD staff prior rate cases. We encourage the Commission to carefully consider the consenting opinions in this case to advocate for lower increase wastewater rates. In doing so, will maintain the financial integrity, credit standing, and the ability of MSD to move forward and fund its capital. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. John Kaufman?
Good afternoon. My name is John Kaufman. I'm with the Consumers Council of Missouri, and I'm here to talk about the same item representative you just heard from the industrial consumer. However, I represent the smallest consumer that you are bound by law to protect. Here to remind you that there are many people, both the city and the county, barely balance bills that they have to sit around the kitchen table today. Every dollar more this rate increase excessive beyond what is actually necessary will push more people over the edge and being unable, because the MSDs can put liens on people's houses. It can also have severe ramifications as to. So I want you to please keep in mind those. The Rate Commission report goes on and on about how much it's concerned about these multiple increases and how fast rates are going up. But for whatever reason, and I won't address the process in detail or what's wrong with it, but they're recommending the whole thing. I'm a utility rate attorney. I've been involved in rate cases, 30 different states and over 35 years, and I rarely have ever seen a utility propose a rate increase, have it recommended 100% everything they want. Usually there's some give and take. Usually consumers come in, compromise, and some of the less necessary parts are shaved back. And we're here today not asking that, we're not asking that one single project be, we're not asking that anyone's salaries or bonuses be denied. We're asking only that the excessive level of financing be reduced to the level that this Board of Trustees has approved every rate case since the consent decree. We're asking only that you do what this body did last time, years ago. That is adopt, calculate the revenue requirements based on a 1.6 debt coverage. And again, I would point you to the minority report on page 155. And this is the recommendation of rate commissioners, Leonard Tennant of the Associated General Contractors, Lloyd Palin, Brad Goss of the Home Builders, Jack Stein. These 4 commissioners, in their opinion, believe that the rate consultant so that there is that 1.6 debt interest coverage ratio, all that is needed. In their words, it is apparent from the district's own evidence, that of our own rate consultant, evaluated the alternative debt coverage scenario, that all of the formulas keep the debt service at or above 1.6, coverage that underwriters. There is a cost to being overly conservative. In this case, the cost is being borne by those who are able to afford it in our population. As such, this overly conservative policy places an unfair burden on certain classes of ratepayers. All that is required is that you incorporate this minority report, shave the rate increase by about 20%. And that may not seem like a lot. It may seem like, well, gosh, it'd be nice to just have that little extra money in there. But that is money that will be taken off the kitchen table of real consumers. And it is something that will make a difference to a lot of people who don't have a lot. So I just ask that you go back to the policy that has served us well, sensitive. And I know this may seem like complicated stuff, and if you have an opportunity, I'd like to have maybe more discussion about this, please take your charge seriously. Do what you can to protect the public.
Dennis Ganal.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Dennis Ganal. I'm the founder and managing director for MoTax Relief Now. I think you've probably heard of our association recently on the senior property tax freezes that we're trying to get instituted across the state of Missouri. We started building this organization 8 months ago. Now we have thousands of members across the state, including 2,000 in St. Louis and St. Louis County. People are hurting, and that's what I'm here to speak about, and that's who I'm here to represent. The state legislature saw the need for this and passed our bill 187-3. Why? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. We're on the verges of a recession. We have thousands of members who are fighting for property tax reliefs in their counties. Right now, in 1.5 months, the law was passed 1.5 months ago. We've got 5 counties who have passed it. St. Louis City, who is looking to pass something. St. Louis County, who is looking to pass something. We've got 26 counties in process. 2 of them have contacted me this past week to get something going. And we've got 4 counties in petition because the county commission refused to do it on their own so that people could take it in their own hands and do it. We've picked up, so I'm not an expert. I don't know all the tax rates, histories. I don't know who all you represent, the special interest and things like that. I'm not a highly paid PR consultant for the company or for any other organization. I'm a retired professor who worked in corporate and managerial communications. These rate increases are toned down. I mean, think about it. We've had interest rates in a couple of years go from 0 to 5% today on a 2-year note, 5.1. It makes MSD look greedy. It makes MSD look like they're completely out of touch with who their ratepayers are. I'm representing Melva Peters, who emailed me 2 weeks ago and said, Dennis, where am I supposed to come up with $25 more for my property tax? You had in North County this year, you had appraisals on an average go up 50%. Think about that, 50%. The county on a whole went up 20%. So when you take a look at this and say, oh, it's not much, do any of you do the grocery shopping? I do. And I watch Roma tomatoes, which I buy because they're the cheapest, go from $1 to $1.76 in 6 months. That's not all that went up. Our taxes went up right along with it because your tax rate is, say, 7 or 8%. Well, now instead of 8% of 99 cents, it's 8% of $1.78. That's what's going on. And it makes you guys look greedy. It makes MSD look greedy when they even start thinking about it. Seniors are barely treading water right now, as are a lot of young families and singles too. So you need to do what all the families are expected to do in times like this. You need to take a look at what you have. You need to figure out how to use it better, figure out how to use it more efficiently, figure out how to get more out of it, ask your people to step up, and then when the time is right and the economy gets back in balance, which who knows when that's going to be, you're looking for a 16-year guarantee. Tell that to a family. families don't know that they got a 6-month guarantee, right? So I think that's what the problem is here. You need to start looking at the people that are paying the bill and stop looking at what the developers need and the contractors need and all the other people need. Start thinking about the people that are paying the bills, what they need. So I thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Sullivan?
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, it seems MSD is once again violating election laws. The district is unlawfully spending public money to promote the ballot proposal and for the ballot next year. Violating election laws is nothing new for MSD. Years ago, the district was caught red-handed with numerous workers working on a campaign during working hours. It made the front page of the Post-Dispatch in a big color photo. A few years afterward, for a different ballot proposal, the district mailed out what it called news releases to every voter in the district to promote the ballot measure. Of course, the news release is something that goes to the news media. Breaking the law has never been a problem in this place. There's also the second law MSD is violating, the campaign finance disclosure law. Anytime you seek to influence the actions of voters, you come under the provision. The district is clearly violating this law also. Also, the material being distributed needs to be identified as to who paid for it, as the law requires. I do not believe voters should support the district's stormwater rate increase. MSD has come to the end of the line where it can expect voter support. Some serious reforms are needed first. Consider the MSD timeline. An article in the January 31st, 1954 St. Louis Globe Democrat told of all the good that would come if voters approved the MSD. Voters did just that. The sewer district has turned out different from what was promised. In 1966, 12 years later, the mayor of University City, along with various city officials, came to an MSD board meeting to seek help with the often flooding River des Peres. They received no solution. Fast forward to 2008, and the river badly flooded again. 2 senior citizens drowned in University City. 2 city council members were severely critical of the sewer district, but their complaints were brushed aside by MSD officials. About 10 years later, when the River des Peres flooding badly again and homeowners were having their yards eroding away, the city had a meeting and asked district officials to attend. Brian Holshire went to the meeting and said MSD would do nothing. It's the homeowner's problem, he said, not MSD's. Imagine if MSD ran the fire department. What, your home's on fire? Sorry, not our problem. Then last summer, there was unprecedented flooding with the worst in University City. Many thought it might have been lessened if the River des Peres had been better maintained and cleaned out. MSD has refused to do so for many years. Not our problem has been the response. Entire neighborhoods had homes with all their destroyed furniture and belongings stacked at the curb. Looked like a war zone. Meanwhile, Brian Holshire is headed to becoming another MSD public pension millionaire after he retires next year. It doesn't matter that he was a failure at dealing with stormwater and flooding problems. He was also part of the management team that failed to meet clean water standards for years. This could cost the people of this area nearly $10 billion. Government funded almost all the work at one time. MSD continued delayed. Brian's predecessor has also become a public pension. That's been the story of MSD. Those in top management make out like bandits, despite being failures, while homeowners with sewer problems are told there are no ways to help them. As always, there are tens of millions of dollars, no-bid consulting contracts. Voters should not approve stormwater rates. Changes are needed first. Thank you for listening to my.
Ernie Treckers?
Well, here we are again. I wish I could stand here and say it's a pleasure to be back here, but it's furthest thing from a pleasure. My past appearances here, I've tried to be professional, deferential, respectful. That ship has sailed. You people need to hear the truth if you're capable of hearing it and understanding it. You, this board, have the sole authority to set rates. Not your staff, not the rate commission, you. You have a sworn obligation to represent the citizen ratepayers of St. Louis County and the region. The purpose of the Rate Commission is expressly to represent citizen ratepayers, not special interests, which is all it does. Worse, you'd think that the process, you have a rate commission to recommend rates to you, would be an objective process, not even close. There's a complete absence and an impossibility of being objective. Why? The Rate Commission has 15 members. One member represents ratepayers. The board and the Rate Commission represent the quintessence of a conflict of interest. Why is that? Not just the mere appearance of a conflict, an absolute conflict. One, you have an advisory consultant for the Rate Commission. And who is that? Black & Veatch, one of the largest contractors you pay money to on a regular basis. Is that objectivity? This rate proposal that you're being asked to consider, use that word figuratively, comes to you, disregards the people who are least able to pay it. You sit there and swivel in your chairs and smirk. This is not funny. There's a comeuppance coming. What you're doing here is not much different than a criminal enterprise. And I don't use that word figuratively. I use it expressly and purposely. If I were you, I'd be concerned, indeed worried by my appearance tonight. If you don't know, this afternoon, a sunshine request was sent by myself and Councilwoman Kelly Dunaway. So now you have two members of the St. Louis County Council that are intent on making sure that everything that can be scrutinized about your operations will be. Councilwoman Dunaway and I intend and plan to look to fundamentally change the way you're composed and your operations. The CEO doesn't own you, although that's what he thinks. He's told people it's his board. And frankly, from the way this place operates, he's probably right. You're supposed to represent the people. Your failure to take your job seriously and do your due diligence is not much different than, as I said, the result of criminal enterprise. Time for you to quit putting a gun to the head of ratepayers by forcing them to vote an exorbitant, unnecessary increase and approve your bond, or guess what? We'll just screw you the other way and up your rates by 30, 40, 50%. Trust me, folks, I'd be real worried because there's a reckoning coming.
Thank you for your comments. Were there any public hearing reports?
There are no public hearing reports. There are no communications, so, all right, I'll move to the consent agenda. Consent agenda tonight is items 10 through 28. Is there any board member who would like to pull an item for a separate vote? Hearing none, is there a motion for adoption?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
All right, we'll now move to new business, starting with ordinances and items 29, which is the introduction of ordinance number 16228, authorizing the district enter into an agreement with Fresh Coast Capital LLC, doing business as Greenprint Partners, for cost sharing for green infrastructure construction in the CSO volume reduction green infrastructure Triumph Academy project in the city of St. Louis. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 30 is the introduction of ordinance number 16229, appropriating $770,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for design of pump station in the Bonfils Pump Station Rehabilitation Project in the city of Bridgeton, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Stantec Consulting Services. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 31, the introduction of ordinance number 16230, appropriating $650,000 from the Operations Maintenance Construction and Improvement, or OMCI, fund of Deer Creek, used for design in the Deer Creek OMCI Stormwater Design Project in the cities of Kirkwood, Ladue, and University City, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with H.R. Green. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
As for item 32, staff would like to pull and hold this item. Any objections or questions? Hearing none, we'll move to item 33, the introduction of ordinance number 16232, appropriating $1,014,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for design of improvements in the Missouri River wastewater treatment facility, engine generator replacement, and digester system improvements project in the city of Maryland Heights, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with CDM Smith. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 34, the introduction of ordinance number 16233, appropriating $494,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for design of pump station in the South County Relief Pump Station Improvements Project in unincorporated St. Louis County, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Tuveno, Wade, and Merchant. There a motion for introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 35, the introduction of ordinance number 16234, a supplemental appropriation of $200,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for general engineering services in the General Services Agreement Facility and Sewer Design Contract A project at various locations in the district, and authorizing the district to amend a contract with Donahue and Associates. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 36, the introduction of ordinance number 16235, a supplemental appropriation of $1,190,500 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for engineering during construction phase services in the Lower Merrimack wastewater treatment facility expansion phase 2 project in unincorporated St. Louis County, and authorizing the district to amend a contract with HDR Engineering. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 37, the introduction of ordinance number 16236, a supplemental appropriation of $200,000 from the sanitary replacement fund used for sanitary sewer construction in the Greenbrier Number 2 Pump Station Elimination Project in the city of De Pere and unincorporated St. Louis County. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 38 is the introduction of ordinance number 16237, an appropriation of $1.1 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for utility relocation in the CSO Brentwood and Redbud Avenue CSO Interceptor Outfall Elimination and Sewer Separation Project in the cities of Richmond Heights and Clayton, and authorizing the district to enter into an agreement with Ameren, Missouri, Spire, Missouri, Missouri American Water, and AT&T Missouri for utility relocation. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 39 is the introduction of ordinance number 16238, appropriating $5.2 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for sanitary sewer rehabilitation in the infrastructure repairs contract A project in the city of St. Louis and various municipalities in St. Louis County and unincorporated St. Louis County, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with SAK Construction. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 40, the introduction of ordinance number 16239, appropriating $235,000 from the OMCI fund of Coldwater Creek to be used for storm sewer construction in the Sherwood Drive 2790 storm sewer project in unincorporated St. Louis County, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with J.H. Barrett Construction. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 41, introduction of ordinance number 16240, appropriating $5 million from the district-wide stormwater fund to be used for repair, replacement, and construction of inlets, manholes, sewers, and other infrastructure in the stormwater infrastructure repairs project at various locations throughout the district. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Robbie?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 42 is the introduction of ordinance number 16241, authorizing the district to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of St. Anne for cost sharing for municipal stormwater expenditures in the Coldwater Creek OMCI reimbursements program in St. Louis County. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 43, introduction of ordinance number 16242, authorizing the district to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of De Pere for cost sharing for municipal stormwater expenditures in the Deer Creek OMCI reimbursements program in St. Louis County. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 44 is the introduction of ordinance number 16243, authorizing the district to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Town and Country for cost sharing for municipal stormwater expenditures in the Deer Creek OMCI reimbursement program in St. Louis County. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 45 is the introduction of ordinance number 16244, declaring the necessity for the acquisition of easements and temporary easements and certain real property within the district for the purpose of construction of sewers and related appurtenances in the project known as McCutcheon Road and Thorndale Sanitary Relief in the city of Richmond Heights to serve needs of residents of the area, and authorizing staff to proceed with further condemnation efforts related to the project. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 46, introduction of ordinance number 16245, declaring the necessity for the acquisition of easements and temporary easements and certain real property within the district for the purpose of construction of sewers and related appurtenances in the project known as Normandy Sanitary Relief. The cities of Pagedale, Hanley Hills, Belnora, and unincorporated St. Louis County to serve the needs of residents of the area, and authorizing staff to proceed with further condemnation efforts related to the project. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 47 is the introduction and adoption of ordinance number 16246, authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Rimini Street to provide Oracle EBS 12.1.3 support services for the district. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Do I hear an objection to the suspension of the rule? Hearing none, is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 48 is the introduction of ordinance number 16247, repealing ordinance 16201 as adopted September 14, 2023, and enacting a new ordinance in lieu thereof, establishing a conflict of interest policy for district trustees, officers, and employees with an updated vendor, contractor, consultant, conflict of interest questionnaire attachment. Is there a motion for introduction?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Thank you. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 49 is an introduction and adoption of ordinance 16248, amending the WIFIA loan agreement dated December 19, 2018 between the district and the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Do I hear an objection to the suspension of the rule? Hearing none, is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
So,
Thank you. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 50 is the introduction of ordinance number 16249, authorizing the district to enter into a contract with National Vision Administrators to provide vision plan benefits for the district employees and families. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 51 is the introduction of ordinance number 16250, authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Cigna Healthcare to provide medical plan benefits for the district employees and family. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 52 is the introduction of ordinance number 16251, authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Cigna Healthcare to provide dental plan benefits for the district's employees and family. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
And we'll move to resolutions. The first one is item 53, the adoption of resolution 3859. To exercise option year 3 of a contract previously authorized by ordinance 15489, adopted September 10, 2020, that authorized the district to enter into a contract with Ross and Barazini to provide power system studies for the district. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 54 is the adoption of resolution 3860 to exercise option year 2 of a contract previously authorized by ordinance 15795, adopted November 10, 2021, that authorized the district to enter into a contract with Standard Life Insurance Company to provide FMLA administration district-wide. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 55 is the adoption of resolution 3861 to exercise option year 2 of a contract previously authorized by ordinance 15796, adopted November 10, 2021, that authorized the district to enter into a contract with Standard Life Insurance Company to provide group life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance district-wide. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
Item 56 is the adoption of resolution 3862 to exercise option year 2 of a contract previously authorized by ordinance 15797, adopted November 10, 2021, that authorized the district to enter into a contract with Standard Life Insurance Company to provide group long-term disability coverage district-wide. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
And item 57, the adoption of resolution 3863 to replace resolution number 2474 that was adopted October 3rd, 2002. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi? Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes,
All right, and the last item, I am looking for a motion to enter closed session to discuss legal, confidential, or privileged matters under section 610.021, paragraph 1 of Revised Statute of Missouri.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi? Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Fair?
yes.
All right, we are going into closed session. Okay, is there a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved.
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
All right, we're back in open session and we can move to adjourn.
We're back in open session with no further business. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Adjourn. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.